For today's Cyber CEO episode,
I have been working with 𝗙ecie. She's great. She is so easy to get along with. And I tell lots of people about 𝗙ecie and they're always amazed. I was a hard pass on virtual leverage. I'm glad that I had a change of heart about that. And it really has been the best change I've ever made. I have eaten my words over Cyberbacker for sure, and how good 𝗙ecie already was working with me, that piece of leverage, because my main goal was to be with my family more, and it's provided that for me. 𝗙ecie helps me out with a lot of things. It has taken so much time off of my plate, a huge time saver for me. She just works her magic. It's kind of fabulous. She's giving me more quality time with my family. That's been an amazing piece of leverage. It's not always about being the number one real estate agent. And I'm blessed to have a great business that has been improved by 𝗙ecie for sure. First and foremost, want to be the best wife and mom that I can be. And she's allowing me to do that without the guilt of worrying about everything else. She pushes me and keeps me accountable. And I'm so thankful for that. I love 𝗙ecie and I appreciate her so much. And I get really excited when I talk about Cyberbacker because it has made such an impact in my life.
welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Another great day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show. Jenny, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you very much for being on the show. I know you have a lot of things to do. We really, really appreciate your time. So, of course, what we wanted to do was just to get to know more about you and your partnership with your Cyberbacker. So, first question, how long have you been with Cyberbacker so far?
So technically, I believe our contract started in September of last year. I had some changes to my business that happened right after that. And I have been working with 𝗙ecie exclusively since October, middle of October of last year. So it's been wonderful. She's great.
And just the energy, the way you talk about it just feels like, that you've already created such a strong partnership together. Am I right?
We have. I literally texted her earlier and was like, she is so easy to deal, to get along with. Obviously, as a business owner, we get, busy, and of course, sometimes we have the best of intentions of having Zoom calls every day and communication and things like that. And there's times like this morning that I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I just need to hop on a call with you right quick. I need you to do something for me. And she was like, absolutely no problem. And she took a list and then she was like, and I'll text you to remind me to send you what I need, because she's like, I'm like, yeah, I know, I'll forget before I even get my shirt, change my shirt. So it was just one of those things. She knows me that well. She knows what I require.
Now imagine it's just only been a few months that you've been working together, but seems to me you've been working for years now.
It does feel that way. It does. And I tell lots of people about 𝗙ecie and they're always amazed. I've had many assistants here, stateside, in person, and they were all wonderful. And I was hesitant. I made a video recently and I put that I was hesitant and skeptical. I've always been somebody that feels like I have to see somebody every day. To work together. And I have been amazed at the bond that we have formed over Zoom and just with her helping me with my business.
Gosh, and imagine it's only been a few months. Imagine what else you can do with your Cyberbacker, right? With 𝗙ecie the next few months. That's the exciting part, right? Now, talk to me more about the idea of virtual leverage, though. I know we had different feelings or thoughts about it when we first heard about it, right? How about you? What were your initial thoughts about virtual leverage back then?
I was a hard pass on virtual leverage, 100%. I felt like I had to see that person every day. I had to have them here. I literally was, when Zane and and Rob were in my market center at the time. And when they told us about, Cyberbacker in the beginning, I was like, nope, sorry. Like, I have to have somebody at a desk and a computer in my office. Like, I wasn't even a work from home person. I'm glad that I had a change of heart about that. I had a coach last summer who was like, Jenny, come on. Like, like you've got, this is great. And it really has been the best change I've ever, made. I have eaten my words over Cyberbacker for sure. So
gosh, now raving fan of your Cyberbacker too.
Raving fan.
Let me know though, what was your situation like before you chose to partner with Cyberbacker? What was that like?
Well, I co-owned a team, and then that changed in the fall of last year. So, and it was a decision that I made for the betterment of my family. And I had, we had at one point 3 in person, and we actually came to Cyberbacker when one of them left in August of last year, because we were struggling to find someone that, that it would work with for what we needed. So when I decided to then switch over to being an independent, agent on my own, I had a decision to make as to whether I kept, the leverage with Cyberbacker or I tried to do everything myself. And with the cost and how good 𝗙ecie already was, working with me and with everybody else on our team at the time, my husband and I really were prayerful about that decision and chose to keep, that piece of leverage for me, because my main goal was to be with my family more.
Of course.
And it's provided that for me.
Yes. Gosh, already a lot of success, a lot of growth between you and 𝗙ecie, your Cyberbacker. Now, talk to me more about her then. Talk to me more about 𝗙ecie. What's it like working with her every day?
It's really easy. I thought the process would be difficult to be working with someone with a 12 or 13-hour time difference, depending on the day, from here in South Carolina. And I was unsure, just to be honest, of language barriers. And I live in the South, and people aren't always receptive to somebody that doesn't sound like us. That was a hesitancy of mine. And, we have not seen any issues or pushback or anything like that. I get asked that question often. Like I said, I'm in the South, and people aren't open-minded as much to virtual leverage here. And I've introduced 𝗙cie to several of my coworkers, and everybody is just amazed that, it has worked out like it has. I have become like the queen of Instagram and Facebook. And actually, I was on a podcast, on a Facebook Live last night. I was watching one, and somebody had a question about it. It was one of my daughter's pageant friends. And she was not sure if it was going to record or not. And I just commented, and I was like, it'll record, don't worry. And she was like, oh, good, Jenny, you would be the one to know. You're like the queen of all of this, social media. And I told 𝗙cie this morning, I was like, you make me look so good in that aspect. But it's not me, it's 𝗙cie. So that's fun.
A lot of fun right there. Because imagine being a business owner as well, now also being called an expert in Facebook, Instagram, social media. So I'm assuming that's what 𝗙cie helps you out with. Am I right?
Well, 𝗙cie helps me out with a lot of things. I would say, we have a 30, 60, 90 and a job description, just like I had in person for my executive assistants that I've had in the past. We wanted to focus on social media first. When 𝗙cie came on board with me, and it was just me and her. We went through that list and sort of prioritized, and social media seemed to work the best in my business plan to focus on first. So she really dove into that for me. And I'll be honest, I check what she's going to post. She has it in a nice little tracker for me. And I go in every week and check the posts. And, if sometimes there's a typo, or sometimes I'm like, just change those words. That doesn't sound like what I would say, or what have you. But it has taken so much time off of my plate. I just randomly make videos when I'm out places with my family, or or what have you, and I upload them to her in Google Drive, and she just works her magic. It's kind of fabulous. So all the content ideas, she sends me, ideas of videos to film, and I don't even know where she comes up with all of this stuff. Like, I don't even have time to research what works. So that's been a huge time saver for me. Huge time saver for me.
Gosh, huge time saver. Great help by your cyberbacker right there. Now, it seems to
Yes.
me you've already found the perfect person, the perfect cyberbacker to help you out. Now, of course, what we would like to do is to help other business owners find that perfect cyberbacker for their needs and their business. So,
Right.
can you share any pieces of advice when it comes to partnering with a cyberbacker, choosing a cyberbacker all throughout the interview process and things like that?
Well, the interview process was amazing. For us at the time, I wasn't the only one making the decision, but I have a background in hiring, and I was super impressed, with how that, transpired and the test and all that. 𝗙ecie does, like I said, a lot of things for me. It's not just social media. Like, she helps me with my compliance, and she helps me with my database and all of my marketing. And, she does helps me set up my loops in dotloop with documents. Wow. And, inputs my listings. So I think a lot of answering that question goes back to, what that person is looking for in a cyberbacker and being honest. The job description that I wrote when I went on my own and handed to, passed over to cyberbacker, and I went through the calls again to make sure that we were a good fit. The comment was like, "Thank you for being so detailed." And I think that it's really important to sit down, and I believe that unclear is unkind. I had a coach that introduced me to that term, and I've lived by that. So I just think that being really upfront with your expectations, and also remembering that you can't see that person like every day in person, but they are a person, and treating them just like you would treat any other that you have is the biggest piece of success. I think far too many times we live in a world that's virtual. And when we see someone that's virtual, we think that they're like a robot, and they're not. They're a human with a family and feelings. And if we're cognizant of that, and 𝗙ecie gets the same PTO time that my in-person received. She gets holidays that my folks received. And it was interesting, the first time she took some PTO time, cyberbacker actually emailed me, and they're like, "She doesn't have enough PTO through us." And I'm like, "It's okay, just pay her." I want her to have what my folks here would have, because quality of life is so important to me.
Gosh.
So I think it's important just to know. And I mean, I literally put on that job description so there was no unfairness in it, that she would help me manage my ancillary businesses and my family's, adventures pretty much. So my daughter's competing for Miss South Carolina's team this summer, and 𝗙cie's helping me with all of the graphic design things that I have to do, and creating reels and things like that. So not only is she saving me time, she's giving me more quality time with my family that they're not having to do. She puts appointments on my calendar for them. And I mean, that's been an amazing piece of leverage.
Gosh. So 𝗙cie just seems like she's almost everywhere then, not just in business, but in your personal life too. Am I right?
She is. And she cares about it. I believe that, at least she gives me that perception, She told me, she's like, "I can't wait to watch her compete this summer." So she's so into it. But there's a lot of facets of life that, I think we all are great at a lot of things, but we can't be great at everything. You can be good at things, but not great at everything. And I know my weaknesses, and my weaknesses are graphic design and content creation and things like that. So when we're able to sit down together, even for outside of real estate, and say, "Hey, we need to put together a content calendar for Joanna." Joanna will post it herself, but I need some help coming up with ideas of things for her to post on her pages, and things like that. And I need help creating all of these ad pages that we're selling, and that part of it. It's a huge help to me. I get to sleep at night because that stuff's getting done. So
just a limited amount of time, already a big impact this partnership has created between you and 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie. Now,
Yes.
talking about impact though, I know we've talked about a lot, but what's the single most important benefit that you get from this virtual partnership with 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie above all else, you think?
So going into the changes in my business this year, I had to realign my priorities. I realized that my priorities were out of line and that I had made my business the number one thing in my life. And I'm a believer. I'm a very devout Christian. And I realized that I needed to recenter everything around my beliefs, which was God first and foremost, my family second, and my business somewhere down the line, and that until those priorities were straight, I wasn't going to be happy. I wasn't going to be successful. And 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie has allowed me to do that, when I can, last Friday, I took my husband and son were out of town. I took my daughter to an amusement park, and 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie had it covered on the backside and said, "Send me videos," So I think time is the biggest thing. And we get to choose how we invest that extra time. And yes, some of that extra time gets invested into my business for sure. But to me, it's not always about being the number one real estate agent or the top producing real estate agent or whatever. And I'm blessed. I have a great business that has been improved by 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie for sure. But I first and foremost want to be the best wife and mom that I can be. And she's allowing me to do that without the guilt of worrying about everything else.
Gosh, business is still blooming, but still have time for your family, for husband as well.
Yes.
Very exciting stuff because, again, it's only been a few months. Imagine what else you and 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie can do in the next few months.
We're still learning, for sure. There's still things I'm training her on, and we have meetings and, things like that. But it's been far easier than I thought. I think a huge piece of that is the way you guys train the cyberbackers ahead of time and the proficiency in the systems. And then I don't think there's any substitute for what our cyberbackers have as far as a community of other cyberbackers. I have found it so beneficial when neither one can figure out how to do something or whatever, that 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie has resources and even other cyberbackers that she can ask, "Hey, what are y'all doing that works, for your, real estate teams or even other businesses," because it very much feels like collaboration on that side as well. And that, I think, is the key.
Absolutely. There's a lot of cyberbackers with a lot of ideas, a lot of experience as well. They're 100% there to support 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie when it comes to any ideas. We are here to help out.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah. Now, one last thing. We've been talking about 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie for a while now, and I'm sure once she gets to watch and listen to this, she's going to be very, very excited. Now, would you want to give her a quick message or a special message on the show before we end today?
Sure. And we talk about this often, but 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie, I'm so thankful that we get to work together every day. 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie has always said that she is a partner in my business, and that means a whole lot to me. So I'm thankful that 𝗙𝗻𝗄cie's invested in my success as well. She pushes me and keeps me accountable, and I'm so thankful for that. We live in a very fast-paced world, and to have somebody alongside me that wants me to succeed and wants to be successful with me is amazing. And she also has the super cutest doggy ever. We both love dogs, and we didn't know this until we started working together, but we share a birthday. So we have a lot in common, and, so it's fun. One thing I will say to other folks that are considering hiring a cyberbacker, and just going back to that piece of making sure that we're investing in our cyberbackers like we do here stateside. I love the fact that Cyberbacker gives me the opportunity and an easy way to send 𝗙𝗻𝗄ccie little surprises and, Christmas gifts. And although I'm really having to get used to the like the currency exchange, because I sent flowers recently and they were like massive. And I was like, I was almost embarrassed at how big they were. And I was like, I would have gotten like a plant this big in the US. But I love that I can really, like, gift giving is my love language. So I love that she can just get some surprises along the way. I've been able to treat her to spa days and, everything just like I would do here. And I really think that personality is the biggest piece of it to match up. And then, just really like forming a relationship with that person, and a big thing for me was trust. And there's a piece in y'all's interview process that has that in it. So whenever anybody asks me like, how did you pick her or whatever? I'm like, you have to look at those tests and all their resumes and see what is the most important thing to me. And to me, the biggest thing is trust. Her work ethic is second to none. So, I mean, I love 𝗙𝗻𝗃 and I appreciate her so much. And I get really excited when I talk about Cyberbacker because it has made such an impact in my life.
Yes. And imagine, again, it's just been a few months.
I can't wait.
We're excited for more months, more years together in the partnership. I know 𝗙𝗻𝗃 is excited too, 100% sure. Happy in the partnership as well. We're very excited to see more from you and 𝗙𝗻𝗃. And of course, I know you're very busy. I really, really appreciate your time here today.
Absolutely.
I had fun talking to you today, Jenny.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.